Hello, and welcome to Sarah and Paul Conversation. In today's episode, Sarah and Paul are going to talk about something that touches all of our lives every single day: social media and how it's changing the way we communicate. It's a topic full of interesting vocabulary, real opinions, and some genuinely surprising ideas. Plus, it's a conversation that never gets boring. Here we go.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Sarah and Paul Conversation. So happy to have you with us today.
Hello, everyone. Before we started recording, Sarah and I were actually talking about this topic off camera, and we both had so many things to say that I think this could easily become the longest episode we've ever done.
That's always a good sign. It means the topic genuinely matters to us. And I think it matters to most people listening, too.
It really does. So today we're talking about social media and how it's changing the way we communicate. And I don't just mean the vocabulary, though there is loads of great vocabulary to explore. I mean the whole culture of communication. How we connect, how we express ourselves, how we listen, and what we might be losing along the way.
Let's start with something really relatable. Have you ever been in a conversation with someone and they pull out their phone and start scrolling while you're talking to them?
Oh, absolutely. And there's actually a word for that now: phubbing. It means snubbing someone in favor of your phone. It's a combination of phone and snubbing. A portmanteau, as linguists call it.
Phubbing. I love that it has a name, but it's a real phenomenon, isn't it? And before smartphones, before social media, that just wasn't possible. You'd have had to give the other person your full attention. Or at least pretend to.
Exactly. And I think that shift from full attention to divided attention is one of the most significant changes social media has brought to real-life communication. We're physically present, but mentally somewhere else, entirely checking, scrolling, waiting for a notification.
And it's not just about being rude to the person in front of you. It's about this constant internal pull. The feeling that something might be happening online right now, and you might be missing it. FOMO, the fear of missing out.
FOMO, that's such a useful expression. Fear of missing out. And it's very real, very powerful. Social media is specifically designed to create that feeling. The notifications, the infinite scroll, the way the feed refreshes endlessly. It's all engineered to keep you coming back, to make leaving feel risky.
And I think that's one of the key things to understand about the language of social media. A lot of it is very intentional. The words are chosen to feel natural, even invisible, but they're incredibly effective. Take the word feed, for example. Originally, it's what you give an animal to eat, or scroll, which is something medieval scribes did with parchment. These ancient physical words have been borrowed and repurposed to describe something completely modern and digital.
That's fascinating. The language of social media reaches back into history and borrows from very old, very human experiences. You scroll through a feed, you follow people, you share things, you like something. All of these are warm, human, physical verbs applied to something that happens on a screen.
And then there's the vocabulary that social media has actually invented from scratch. Go viral. When something spreads across the internet at incredible speed, like a biological virus. Algorithm. The invisible system that decides what you see and when, and which is increasingly shaping what people think and believe. Hashtag, selfie, unfollow, block, DM, direct message, real story. These words simply didn't exist 30 years ago. and now they're completely mainstream.
Unfollow in particular has crossed over into real life in a very interesting way. People say things like, I've basically unfollowed him in real life, meaning I've just stopped engaging, step back, let the relationship fade.
Yes, and block too. I've blocked that whole chapter of my life. These digital metaphors are now being used to describe very human decisions and very human emotions. The language has crossed the border from screen to reality.
It's like the metaphor has reversed. At first, social media borrowed from real life, following, sharing, friending, and now real life borrows back from social media. Language always moves in both directions.
And what about the informal language and abbreviations that started online and have now crossed into everyday speech? LOL, OMG. People actually say these out loud in conversation now. And there's a whole newer wave of expressions. No cap, which means honestly or I'm being completely serious. Low-key, meaning slightly or without making a big deal of it. Ghosting, when someone just disappears without any warning or explanation whatsoever.
Ha! Ghosting is such a perfect word for that experience. Before we had that term, we didn't have a single clean expression for what happens when someone just stops responding, stops showing up, vanishes. And now we do, and everyone immediately knows exactly what you mean.
Exactly, and I think a lot of this internet slang is genuinely expressive. It's not dumbing down English, it's filling real gaps in the language. No cap, vibe, low-key. These words give people a precise, efficient way to describe something that previously needed an entire sentence to explain. Language always evolves where there's a genuine need.
What about the effect on how we express emotions? Because I think this is something really important. We've taken complex, nuanced feelings and reduced them to emojis, to reactions, like a heart, an angry face, a laughing emoji.
And there are people who genuinely argue that this is making us less emotionally articulate. That when you can respond to something with a single tap, a heart, a thumbs up, you never have to find the actual words for how you feel. And if you never practice finding the words, eventually you lose access to them.
On the other hand, I think emojis and reactions have given people who struggle with words, or who feel too shy or too overwhelmed to write something, a way to acknowledge something, to say, I see this, I care, I'm here. For some people, a simple heart emoji from someone they love at the right moment genuinely means the world.
That's such a fair point. And I think social media has also done something remarkable and largely positive for language learners. The access to English content it provides is extraordinary. YouTube, podcasts, Instagram, TikTok. You can hear natural, native English in every imaginable context, every single day, completely for free. Previous generations of learners could only dream of that.
Absolutely, and the community aspect is just as powerful, being able to connect with other learners all over the world, to practice, to ask questions, to share your progress. That's genuinely transformative. Language learning used to be a solitary, often frustrating experience. Social media has made it social, which is exactly what language should be.
And there's another dimension that I don't think gets enough credit. The effect on listening skills. When you're learning English and you're constantly exposed to natural conversations, to podcasts, to short videos from native speakers all over the world, you absorb the rhythm of the language, the intonation, The way words connect and flow in real speech, that's something that's incredibly hard to teach in a classroom.
Absolutely. And you start picking up different accents, different styles of speaking, casual versus formal registers, all just by watching and listening. Previous generations of learners had to travel or pay for expensive immersion programs to get that kind of exposure. Now you can get it sitting on your sofa.
So social media has given learners incredible access and an extraordinary community. But it's also given us shorter attention spans, FOMO, fubbing, and a more fragmented, more performative way of communicating. It's complicated.
Very complicated. And I think the honest answer is it depends entirely on how you use it. Social media is a tool. An extraordinarily powerful, extraordinarily addictive tool, and the people who get the most out of it are the ones who are intentional about how they engage with it, who choose what to consume and why, rather than just scrolling because they can't stop.
Have you ever done a digital detox? A period of time away from social media?
I have, actually. I spent 2 weeks without Instagram or Twitter, and I noticed something I hadn't expected. I had much more patience in conversations. I listened better. I wasn't mentally composing a post or thinking about how I'd describe this moment online. I was just in it, fully present.
That's really striking. Because I think that's the deeper issue when social media trains us to perform. To think about how things look, how they'll be received, whether they're shareable, whether they'll get likes. And in real conversation, that performative instinct can be a real barrier to genuine connection.
You've put your finger on something really important. The difference between performing and connecting. Social media tends to reward performance. Real life rewards genuine connection. And sometimes, not always, but sometimes those two things pull in opposite directions.
So what's the takeaway? Because I know some of our listeners are on social media right now, listening to us.
Ha. And we genuinely appreciate it. The takeaway is this: social media has given us an extraordinary vocabulary, extraordinary access to English, and an extraordinary global community. Use all of that. Use it to learn, to connect, to grow, but don't let it replace the real thing. The conversation that happens face to face, the moment of genuine connection with another person, that's still where the best English happens. That's still where the real magic is.
Beautifully said.
Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us today. This was honestly one of our favorite conversations in a long time, and we hope it gave you something to think about and some great new vocabulary to use.
If this episode made you think, please leave a comment. Tell us, how much time do you spend on social media every day? And do you think it's helped or hurt your English? We'd absolutely love to know.
Please like, subscribe, and share this episode with someone you'd love to have a real conversation with, on or off screen.
Remember, you are not bad at English. You are just getting better every single day. Bye for now.
Bye.